नमस्कार एंड वेलकम टू द स्टार्टअप का महाकुंभ दंगल। इसमें पहलवानी नहीं है, लेकिन आपकी लोगों से मुलाकात है, मेहमान नवाजी है। आज हमारे साथ मौजूद हैं श्री मनोज स्वरूप, फाउंडर lifeindex.com. Manoj Swarup, the founder of Life Index, worked with several organizations across the globe in different capacities. Traveled across the globe, owned a restaurant. We'll ask him whether he still owns one. Been a motivational speaker and does not shy away from trying anything that is new. Now, viewers, I'll tell you, my name is Abhinav Chaturvedi. अभिनव के मतलब होते हैं नया, और अभी का मतलब है now. That means that anything that starts on a day, you have to get up with something new. To innovate, to stay in sync with time, because in technological ways, we are, you get up, there's something new happening. मनोज जी, आपका स्वागत है. Welcome to our show.
Thank you very much.
मनोज जी, does it also happen to you that you get up in the morning and you find something new in your head to start implementing? My first question to you.
I think that's my first vision all the time. Anything that comes to my head, I start implementing it right away. I don't wait for another minute or two. If something's come to my head, like Life Index came to my head, and the next minute we bought the domain name, we started working on the name, and my daughter was the one who came up with it because I was looking for LIFE. We could not find it on .coms. And then we went in, and my daughter suggested, let's do LYFE. It's as good as LIFE. So we said, perfect, and we went ahead with it.
So, where are you based right now for our viewers?
I am based in the UK.
Where in UK?
Sorry?
Where in the United Kingdom?
London, around London. I'm roughly about 20 minutes away from London.
Where? Which part?
Do you know London pretty well, it seems?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Okay, perfect. Then Gatwick Airport. Do you know of Gatwick Airport?
Yeah. That's the
Yeah,
six.
yeah, I'm very close to it.
That's
Yeah.
where the offloading is done in terms of putting the decongestion of the traffic at the Heathrow.
Not really. I think Gatwick is a main airport as of today because we have
Yes.
four airports. Yeah.
Yeah, because there's too much amount of tourists and coming in and business and all sorts of activities happening. So our
Right.
son did his football training in Leicester, and
Well, nice.
my wife's bua is in Kent, and I had the pleasure of
Wow,
going to the Lords.
beautiful.
I'm a former Delhi cricketer, so at my house I've got the grass of Lords, where I went on to have a sightseeing tour, and
Awesome.
and my son is playing professional football in Poland at the moment.
Okay.
So, I mean,
Right.
you said you were talking about that, yesterday we were talking to one of the youngsters, and
Okay.
today, yesterday's newspaper in Times of India, I was reading that, the gap is where you may have ideas, um, and they say that you may have 60, 70 ideas in your
All right.
head, but if it's not implemented, that goes into the trash can straight away. That idea is dead. So out of 60 ideas, if you have in the brain, if you're not able to displace them in terms of executing them, it's
Right.
as bad as kabar, crash.
I would say otherwise, but if you have an idea in your head, somebody else has the same idea. If you don't build on it, somebody else will end up building on it. So if you look at all the ideas, I'm sure Amazon was one of those names. Somebody else had a similar idea but did not have the passion. But Jeff Bezos had the idea and he had the inclination to do it.
So what is your daughter helped you out to reach out to Life Index,
So
LYFC. Hmm.
yes, yeah,
So
so it was the
what is
name.
go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
So they say what's in a name? I think everything is in the name itself.
True, True. Like you said, your name was Abhinav, and your name tells a lot more about you. It is a part of you. I would say Manoj means Kamadeva, or God of love. And that's where my name comes into play, that I love everything that I do. I meet people. I love everybody that I want to meet. And I want to meet them with and greet them with that smile, with that love. And I would show it towards anybody.
मैं एक शिक्षित परिवार से हूँ. My both my parents are teachers of Hindi literature. My father is of course not there anymore. My mother is a
Sorry.
PhD in Hindi literature. So
Right.
अगर मैं आपके नाम की संधि करूं
Yeah.
दूसरी तरह से, तो मैं कहूंगा जिसके मन में ओज, ओज यानी कि तेज, डायनामिक, एग्रेसिव, जिसके मन में ओज हो, उसकी जिंदगी में कभी बोझ नहीं होगा.
Thank you very much.
You are
And that
so
that brings a lot of it meaning.
it's like that's that's what your face is reflecting to me in terms of dynamism. And
Thank you
of
very
course,
much.
you whitened a lot with experience. So, uh, uh, as they say that you're gray with grace. And
True.
so, what has been the journey of Life Index all about?
It's been beautiful. But the entire thing, when it started off when my mother passed away 3 years ago.
So sorry
And
to hear.
that's where the entire thing was, because I was in the midst of, what do we do? She's done so much for me and she's left this earth. What am I doing for her? What have I done for her? Was I there for her when she was going through the hard times or the hardship of that life? Yes, I was there. But beyond that, what am I going to do? Now, in order for me to do that, we came up with, let's put up a statue, a place where she lived or she spent her initial days of her life. Let's put a statue. But then we thought, will that statue tell the story? Would somebody else be there to tell her story? You might inscribe her name, you might inscribe her date of birth and death of date, but will that be the complete story? No, and then we said, okay, let's scrape that off. Came back with a bench. Let's put a bench for people to rest and relax so that they can come back and sit down. Now, will that describe and prescribe her entire story? And the answer was no, it won't. And that's when we came up with the Life Index. We want to make sure that every individual that who has passed away, their life story is left behind for next generations to see. Now, you come from film industry, you come from that little thing on TV where, you're being seen all the time. But have we ever realized that rich and famous are always remembered? But what about us as common people? Are we remembered? No, we've forgotten the day we die. Maybe a few days later, nobody even talks about us. Our next generations don't talk about us. If you look at us, our 40 generations or 50 generations have been lost. We don't know anything of them. We might know the maximum a name and date of birth or a death of date. Do we not need more than that? I want more than that. And that's where this started from.
Wow. So now this is something very interesting because you talk about legacies, you talk about
True,
generations, and life for me has been that you imbibe from your elders and you pass it on to the next generation. So you basically life is, according to my perception of whatever I've learned so far. At the age of 60, I understand that life is a 4 into 100-meter relay that
true,
that you pass on. The first generation starts and runs the first 100 meters, pass on the baton to the other one, then the baton is passed to another one and to another one
true,
till you hit the tape. Now, what
true,
in that's a 4 into 100-meter relay, but according to the Indian dynamics, it's been for generations together. And probably it's a race which is an unending race coming from
true.
श्रुति और स्मृति के देश भारत में. हम यही कहते हैं. रामधारी सिंह दिनकर की 4 पंक्तियां आपको समर्पित है कि
Indeed.
वो नहीं नूतन कि जो प्राचीनता की जड़ मिटा दे, भूत का आभास ही जग से मिटा दे, जो पुरातन को नया कर दे उसे नूतन कहूंगा.
Please explain.
So basically, I've been a student of history. I did my master's in history from St. Stephen's College after
Right.
doing my 12th from Modern School, Barakamba Road. So continuity and change is part of our daily lives. But the
Sure.
wisdom is that what should continue, what should change.
Sure.
So while continuing your traditions, your entire being, you're willing to accept the change and change yourself
Better.
first and then change the world.
Sure.
Like Mahatma Gandhi said, be the change. You don't have anyone else. So, in terms of understanding the dynamics, as you
Right.
rightly said, that Life Index has, you said your mother and statues. There's so many stories throughout the world, why India,
Right.
that the lesser known people uh, have their lives have not been written about.
True.
Like even if you see the India Gate, for example, there are these World War II heroes which have
True.
been mentioned in that gate. And there are so many of people who are there who have come on this earth, yogis, sannyasis, who have not been written, agriculturists, you
True.
name any phase of the world. And that is, again, a very difficult subject to discuss. I mean, I think we can just spend on the entire 30 minutes or maybe the entire day discussing all that. But having
True.
said that and having heard that, uh, you told us about the beautiful story that it was your mother. So,
Right.
so how did you decide to go about? You said about 3 years back.
Correct.
So we are talking about 2021.
21.
Prior to that, what were you doing?
Prior to that, I've worked in different capacities. I have owned a business, which is a restaurant.
Where?
We used to run a restaurant out of Delhi, which is known as New York Pizza Dwarka. It's pretty
Mm-hmm.
famous, and we were
Mm-hmm.
very well known for our pizza. And then I wrote a book as well within that 1 year gap. I lost my mom. I was trying to figure out what else to be done. So I ended up writing a romance fiction.
Romance fiction. Okay, have you considered of making a film out of that?
Well, if somebody gives me an opportunity, sure, it's worth the
Can
movie.
I offer you that? Seriously.
Sure, I'm willing to
Okay, so
take
we'll
it.
discuss that. Anyway,
Sure.
so you're an author too, and you're a
Yes.
restaurant owner. So do you
Yeah.
still own that, or you
We had
kind
to
of
close it down because we moved over and I had health issues, so I had to give up.
you
It's a
should
lot
have
of
just
hard
passed
work.
on the brand to somebody who was like, or you can relaunch it also.
I can definitely relaunch it if somebody is willing to take care of it
Oh,
because it
we
was
will
my
look after
baby.
this here in Delhi. I mean, there are. I'll ask my Mr. Rajkumar Sharma and seek his intervention guidance on that. He's a
Sure.
very young and dynamic entrepreneur, and
Awesome.
because I think if you've already opened up a brand,
You're
and
right.
like I also had health issues, and I had to temporarily put my production company on hold.
Mhm.
I have a film production company by the name and style of AV Network, Audiovisual
Nice.
Network. So, we are impaneled with Doordarshan, and I produced some very significant. I brought the standard of ISO into India through my films, and I've done
Beautiful.
produced a film on intellectual property rights, India's first film, which was partnered with World Intellectual Property Organization, Geneva, and Ministry of
Right.
MSME. So, having said that, mm, so you have had a restaurant, you've done a book, and
I've traveled across the world. They're worked in different capacities. I've been a motivational speaker for roughly over 10 years.
so Mr. Shiv Kheda is my father's student from Modern School, Barakamba Road.
You're right.
So, okay, now, what was the basic purpose of putting Life Index in? Let's get straight to the
So
point.
this was about remembering every being on planet. Now, if you look at culture. Now we had a little question on where does our culture comes from, and this was put on LinkedIn, and we got responses, and we had we had people to say either family, or was it the country, was it the city, or was it the religion? And we came back and it was very evident it is your family. Because if you look at it, being a Hindu, me being a Hindu, you being a Hindu, we do something so different from the next door Hindu that is passed on from your family to family to family. And over a period of time, we forget those things and we don't realize that this is the culture of your family. And
No,
this is your bloodline.
sure, sure. I think it makes a larger sense because India has been a more than 5,000-year-old country, and we have got the Gurukuls even still existing today. And
Right.
I will not go deep into the subject again because again, it's going to take up us a lot of time because they say that
Right.
somebody asked me, a youngster was visiting from Canada, and I
Right.
was introduced uh, to him by a very dear friend of mine and a very interesting influencer, uh, Pavani. And she said, he asked me a question, says, "What do you think about India?" I said, "Think? I think," I said, "I'm definitely sure that it takes 7 lifetimes to understand India."
True.
So I said, either there only one thing about India is that either you fall in love with the country or you go back confused.
Yeah.
So much amount of diversity, so much amount of dialect changing every 14 miles, so does food, clothing, culture. And it is so mesmerizing.
True.
And that's the beauty of the legacy. So it's a great initiative to be talking about your legacies through your. How do you do it? I mean, what is the mechanism of?
So what we do it through our website. What you do is you go onto the website, lifeindex.com, click on add memorial. Once you click on add memorial, you put in your first name and your last name. As soon as you put that in, you have a form that opens up. You put in the details of the deceased family members. So we don't take details of people who are alive, like yourself. If you want to put details about your dad, you can put all those details, everything about him, who he was, what did he do, how did he die of, what did he die of, his achievements. Those anecdotes play a major role in bringing up those young kids and put those across. And then what happens? We verify those details. Once we verify most of it, then we go ahead and say, yes, this profile is approved and that profile is gone live. Now we charge a one-time fee of 738 rupees. That's only a
Oh,
one-time fee. That's only a one-time fee so that people can start putting those things together. And we don't charge you anything after that. Anybody can come back and look at those details. Now, we wanted to make sure that we don't run this platform on advertisement because we want it to be more divine, more a beautiful place for us to come back and look at and connect with people who have passed away. So we did not think of doing advertisement. That's why we said, let's come up with a small fee so that we can survive and everybody else's information survives forever. So that's the easiest number that we thought of, 738 rupees. So it's translated to £7 in the UK, $9 in the US. So we wanted to keep it minimal and wanted to make sure that it is affordable for everybody. As of today, we spend roughly about 35,000 Indian rupees on a funeral. And taking a little dot out of it or a little drop out of it, which is 738 rupees, and putting the details of your family member over there, it's worth it.
yeah, because I
Because
think you are talking about basically archiving the entire legacy at the cost of only
correct,
738 rupees.
correct.
So even if I want to, okay, suppose if I register today,
Definitely.
okay, and thereafter I decide that I want to plug in extra information at, say,
Mhm.
by tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to be a Sunday or whatever. So whenever I
Sure.
get the time, I can add on and plug in on these as it comes to my mind while recalling. Is there a
So one
provision
thing,
for that? Yeah.
sure. One thing that we don't do is we don't give the username and password. Why? Because we don't want anybody and everybody. There are other platforms like social media where there's so many scammers. We do not
Oh,
want that to
it's
happen.
full of
So
it.
we,
The world
yes.
is
So
full
what
of
we do
crooks.
is True. So that's what we do is we let you enter those details. Once those details are preserved, if you ever want to make changes, you don't have to pay us. All you have to do is you're sent a unique link. Once you send us that unique link, you put in your name and your information that you would like to change or you would like to add or pictures that you would like to add. Send them back to us. It'll take us roughly about 24 hours to about 48 hours, and we'll upload those things for you.
So basically, what I have to do is that any information which comes into my mind with pictures, I can just log into the unique. You go back to the site, go to the unique link, and I
Mhm.
send these pictures for you to update, and
So
and and
just
thereafter,
email us.
yeah,
Yeah,
email.
just email
And
us with that
what is the
link.
email, please?
That's support@lifeindex.com.
Support at the rate life, because I'm right taking notes. As you can
Right.
see here, because it's going to
Yes.
be, yeah. Because what happens is that uh, I would definitely like to join in, because this is something which has been on my mind, and I've got some beautiful
Sure.
pictures of my father, my grandfather, my great grandfather, and families put together, the family tree. And I was
Sure.
of course, I'll be taking out a book on that. Uh,
Right.
and, we have
So,
a
you
Chaturvedi Mahasabha in Delhi, in Bhopal. So
you're
we
right.
are only 60,000 Chaturvedis in the world. It's a very
Wow.
small
Beautiful.
community, but it's interesting. So that's why I took my notes. So I will definitely
Okay.
go back home, tell my
Thank you
mother
very
also.
much. Yeah. Abhinavji, the other thing that we don't do is we don't just put you into pictures and videos. So that's not our motive. That's not our thing. We want you to put more stories about them. So today, as of today, you go online and you look for Mahatma Gandhi. What do you look for? You don't look for his pictures. You don't look for his videos. You look for his stories. You look for what people have written or what has been left behind as a legacy in writing. Because when you start reading about somebody, it touches your heart rather than seeing something.
Yeah, because especially we have accounts also where the lesser known things about the person or the individual, uh, and their narratives, their stories, which are very interestingly inspiring. And those are
Yes,
stories which have not been told or
true.
written anywhere.
Right. So that's again, we come back to the same thing. Taj Mahal was built. Now, you talk about Shah Jahan, you talk about everybody else, but do you talk about those individuals who helped to build that Taj Mahal? Have their stories been ever told? Will we
Only
ever get to
story
know
we've
those
been,
things?
only story which has been told that their hands were cut off,
That's
uh,
it.
so that nobody else could build that again.
We have new parliament being built in Delhi. Now,
Yes.
are we talking about those stories? Every individual who's done or who's put his heart and soul and blood and sweat into making that. We don't talk about them. We want those stories out. Tomorrow, my kids can go back and say, you know what? My dad was a part of this big institute, but not as a big part, but as a starter of it.
Mm. Yeah. I know. Sorry for this call came in. It's just a disruptive part. My apologies for this. Because just
That's all right.
anyway.
No worries.
No. Okay. Oh, okay. Now it's very quickly. I've got a notice saying that it's got about just 10 minutes more to go, because your thing is so interesting that we'll have to do another session with you on this part
Sure.
also. But okay, now I would like to understand from you that what are the kind of challenges or what are the kind of problems which you find in this whole gamut of things about. Is there any
See, as
challenges?
the only challenges that we've come across are people stating that there's all this already social media, but then people don't realize on that social media, once you put that information, within few days or few weeks, when they realize that this is not owned by the same person, that's deleted. And on that, you don't have stories, you only have pictures. We want a lot more than that. And with our platform, that is there for ages to come, for next 100 generations to come and look at those. But with the other social media, It'll be erased within a day or two, or maybe within a month or week. But do we want that? We want it to remain forever.
Yeah, I
That's the
think
biggest challenge.
that's the most beautiful thing that and I think once you've defined that challenge, you only you only translate that, because I
True.
think any product that's designed in the R&D is achieved in the process,
Right.
and I think it should be there forever, because uh, there's a beautiful song I can sing about two lines
Sure,
if
go
you
ahead.
allow me. It says, रहे न रहे हम महका करेंगे बन के कली बन के सबा बादे हया में रहे न रहे हम, saying that
That's so
basically that
beautiful.
that we are may we will in physical forms we may not be there, but रहे ना रहे हम महका करेंगे, like what you're doing
Right.
through preservations of their memories, their stories. महका करेंगे बन के सबा हवा बन के कली, all kinds of natural form which are in and around, and
True.
let that garden of our legacies,
Mm.
the large garden of our legacies,
True.
may blossom every day. May there be flowers, may there be trees with fruits. Uh, that the most beautiful garden where, uh, you know, apart from the statues, the nature speaks about those people uh,
True.
who brought us onto this beautiful planet. And
Yeah.
we have not seen God, but we have seen the service done by our parents.
True.
And I think that has to
Yes.
be preserved at any cost.
It has to be.
It
And
makes,
I think you come back to the same good point that those people do so much for us and we forget them in a split second. And that's where the entire story comes back is I don't want to lose my mom forever because I want her story to resonate for years and years to come. So that even my great grandkids, they come back and they look at that. If my story is not left behind, but at least my mom is left behind for her to be read about.
yeah, I think it makes larger sense because you see, I'm the single child of my parents. And I left the
Right.
film industry post Subhash Ghai's movie Saudagar with Dilip Kumar and Rajkumar, and
You're right.
the legends that I worked with. And, I came back because Ravina Tandon's father, Mr. Ravi Tandon, and my father, they were batchmates. And
Right.
he said, they are kind of so simple guys that they will not fit themselves into a very fast world of Mumbai. So I had to shift back in 1991 because he had pancreatic cancer. And you'll be happy to know that, just before he passed away, about 15 days before that, he gave me a full length interview of his. He was a renowned commentator, Abhay Chaturvedi, the first generation of cricket and hockey commentators. And also, subsequently, I took his footprints through just I put up an excuse, एक बहाना लगाया कि I need the size of your chappals. And I knew very well
Wow.
that that I knew that he's not going to be with us. So, and that size of the feet. Then I went to post his death. I went to demise. I went on to uh, a stone, the marble chipper, and he got me the same size feet in marble. So symbolically putting up his photograph next to that and saying that, he stood there. So before I leave the house, I make sure that I bow in reverence and I take his ashirwad and get it on the work part.
Beautiful.
So, I think you're doing such a beautiful work. I think this is something which, uh, and I'm frankly saying that I heard it for the first time that, uh, so what is your message to the people for Startup Dangal? Are we going to see you here?
Yes, I will be there. I'm definitely meant to be there, and I'm not missing that out. Our message is, we have 5,000 years worth of legacy. Are we going to just lose it, or are we going to preserve it? Are we going to preserve every family member? And that's what we want to do. As of today, we have 9,000 users across the world. and people across the world have started realizing it. We've got people from Iran and Syria. They know people die day in, day out, but there's no whereabouts of them because they've forgotten. There are wars happening across the world. Let's start preserving those lives.
I think everyone should do that because everybody has got a story to tell.
True.
I'm of the opinion that the kind of uh, content that we are going to have and the content both that we are happily narrating and sharing the stories first to archive it empty or do some research, do some readings about it, notes down, and put it back into the cycle so that at least it's there for posterity. Is
True.
that so?
Yes.
So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you, Mr. Manoj Swarup. It's a pleasure to have you on the show, and I keep
Pleasure.
up the good work, and I wish you all the best. Keep in good health,
Thank you.
keep smiling, and keep getting as much as clientele as possible. Because I'm going to definitely talk about this to my friends. I'm really fascinated. My day's made. I would say that 27th of April, Saturday, post my wedding anniversary on 25th. Today, I have actually found something, a platform where I would definitely enter and register and share some stories with you. So, friends, yeah, I also appeal to you. I request you to kindly take this up very seriously, and it's time for us to put our legacies and put our remembrances, reverences to our uh, former generation for the new generation to emulate, take a lot of learnings from that, knowledge from that. Thank you once again, Manojji. Thank you so very much.
Thank you very much, Abhinavji. Thank you.
Namaskar. Namaskar.
Namaskar. I'm good to leave, right?
Yeah. Well, we can talk. We can talk if you have time.
Yeah, it would be lovely to, because I've been trying to reach out to a few actors in India so that we can have this grow. Because people like you, if you get that out there, it will make a lot of sense to
Do you
people
mind
out
sharing your
there.
number
So
with me? Do you mind sharing your
sure, I
number? Yeah,
can.
yeah, please.
I can.
Plus double four.
44
Yeah, and
788
yeah,
949
yeah,
6390.
yeah. And you can take down mine.
Sure. Just give me a moment.
And the moment Raji is back, he's traveling.
Uh-huh.
He'll be back in office on Monday. So I'll
Okay.
discuss this with him as well because we are planning out to do a lot of work together. And
All
it's
right.
I've I, since the film industry is there. I mean, plus cost wise also we are Delhi is about 40% cheaper than Mumbai because
Sure.
of our absence of and then we have a new film city coming up in Uttar Pradesh. So
Beautiful.
yeah, with Yogi ji is putting up a very big film city here, and so is Uttarakhand. I'm planning a film very shortly to be shot in Delhi.